Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today's video is about pizza, so not about the regular plate lunches and the restaurants I go to. Sometimes you just want a good pizza, so we're gonna try to cover most of the really good pizzas on the island of Oahu. So today's restaurant is Brick Fire Tavern. That's our first restaurant we're gonna go to. They specialize in Neapolitan pizzas. So if you're wondering about parking, there's a lot behind it. We're here early. It opens in 10 minutes, but it's kind of almost full because the empty spots are reserved. So there's only about 2 spots. All right, we got inside. There was already people in line. It opens at 5. They take a break between lunch and dinner. And there was already a line and it wasn't even open yet. We got here 10 minutes early. And so you might want to make reservations. We did on Open Table. And it's a Thursday, it's not even a Friday, so it's pretty popular. They've got a wood fire oven there that was built for them. So supposedly 2 of the owners here went to Italy to study how to make pizza. So that's pretty cool. Apologies for the audio, but it kind of didn't work for some reason in this part of the film. So this is the Mamma Mia. It is a pizza with sopressata, San Marzano tomatoes, house pancetta, Mountain View Farm sausage, red onion, a hot pepper medley, and mozzarella cheese. Upon getting it, it was very floppy and soggy in the middle, that all the toppings fell off. There is nice leoparding on the bottom, but for some reason, the middle was very gummy and raw. And I will say all the toppings were fabulous, but the dough just didn't do it for me. So if you can see what I'm talking about, part of the crust is stuck to the bottom and it's all wet and almost like a gluey mess. But like I said, the flavors are really there, the toppings are great. Just wish the crust was cooked a little better. All right, our second location, hopefully you can hear me, it's super windy, is in Kapolei on the west side. It's Mad Bene. They're known for their Italian dishes, but they also serve pizza. So let's try it out. Here it is. It's right next to the Regal Theaters. All right, so they have a bunch of pizzas, but they also do pasta as well. We're getting the NYC pizza, which is basically their pepperoni pizza. They've got a supreme with sausage, mushrooms, bell peppers, and all that stuff. A mad garlic pizza, a carbonara, a hot honey one with sopressata and caramelized onions. That sounds good. And your margarita pizza with a basil, mozzarella, and tomato. But we just got the pepperoni, so we'll see what it's about. And the waitress is super cool, so it's a really nice spot here. Plenty of parking right next to Regal Theaters and their other restaurant that they own, DB Grill. We also did Chino in the Ward Center. They also own that, and look for that coming up. I went with Terrence to that one, and I'll put the link above once it's released. Okay, our pizza came out. It looks amazing. Let's check it out. So even though it's just a pepperoni, it's got basil on it and some shaved Parmesan. Oop, all the stuff fell off again. First impression, stuff came off again because it's kind of floppy. There's not much leoparding on the back, but the crust feels very toasty and crispy. Lots of cheese pull, so that's a good thing. The crust is really crispy. It's very thin, which I like. The end of the crust, super crunchy. I like that. They use the smaller pepperonis though. I don't really quite like those. They're okay. I like the bigger ones. The cheese is good, and even though it doesn't have much leoparding on it, it's really crispy. Even though it flops and all the stuff falls off, the toppings, still got a nice crunch to it, not as soggy as the last one. I really like the spiciness of the pepperoni. There's also some fennel seeds on there. I love fennel. The cheese is great and gooey. The crust is crispy on the edges, on the back, the thick side. And all in all, a very good pizza. I am actually pretty happy. Even though I prefer bigger pepperonis, the basil gives it a good flavor, and it's a pretty decent pizza. I'd give it a 8.5. Okay, our third stop is going to be J. Dolan's, formerly known as JJ Dolan's. They've been here forever. They're located on Bethel Street, and I really enjoy this place. I used to come here a lot. All right, so I was going to eat in the restaurant, but there is very loud music and it's quite dark in there, although the vibe is really cool. I've eaten there many times and dined in at J. Dolan's. This is their pepperoni slice. You can only get pepperoni or cheese pizza if you're going by the slice. If you've tried their other pizzas, they're very delicious as well. I enjoy them. So you can see that it's pretty much a traditional East Coast type of New York style or Boston pizza. Very, very thin. And it was made hot to order. Has some pretty decent leoparding on the back, which is the markings of the oven. I did have to walk to my car, but when they handed it to me, it was piping hot. It's still hot, but not as fresh. It was probably much crisper when it came straight out, because this side's getting cold, so it probably would have gotten more stiff. I think so far, I'm not sure if you heard the crunch, even though it wasn't as hot as it did come out of the oven, it still had a little crunch at the tip of the pizza, which is usually hard to do. That's when I told you about the previous places where it flops and all the stuff comes off. This is just perfect. It's one of the better pizzas in Hawaii, in my opinion. I prefer this kind of pizza, the New York kind of slice, or East Coast or Boston type of pizza. I don't really like thick crust pizza, but I'll eat it. But I like the crisp, thin crust, and it is just really thin how they make the dough. Even though it's a simple pizza, the pepperoni is very nice. It's got a nice spice to it. It's a little greasy, but it's expected of a pepperoni pizza because all the grease from the meat comes out. The seasoning on top of it, there's a little bit of, it seems, Italian seasoning on the cheese. You can see the specks of the herbs in there, so it gives it a nice flavor, and the cheese is really nice. It has a really good saltiness to it, and they're using quality products, and whoever makes the dough this thin and cooks it well, kudos to them. Now I'm going to try the end of the crust here, see how crispy it is, because it looks pretty crisp. I think that there's just enough sauce on there, not too much. It's just not soaking up the crust and making it soggy. I think it's really hard to find really great pizza here in Hawaii. Some people just are very casual and they'll just like a pizza no matter what. But I'm kind of picky, and this really suits my taste. It's comparable to Regina's Pizzeria in the North End in Boston, which is the best pizza I've ever tasted. Not the ones in the mall, if you've been to Massachusetts. The actual location in the North End. I think it's the best pizza. And when you crunch into that back crust here, the end of the crust, it reminds me of their crust over there, that crisp, charred, perfectly leopard crust. It's delicious. It's almost like a cracker. And what's better is the service there. The girls there that took my order, super sweet, gave me napkins, really nice, let me sit down and wait for my food instead of standing because I didn't want to dine in. So definitely check out J. Dolan's. I think so far, this is the best pizza I've tasted in Hawaii, or Oahu anyway. So I give it a 9 out of 10. So right down the road, if you go down to Oahu from J. Dolan's, is Pizza Mamo. And they're kind of like a trendy spot on Hotel Street, serving up freshly made pizzas. They make a Brooklyn Neapolitan type hybrid pizza and also a Detroit. I got both as slices. They used to have choices of slices such as pepperoni, their supreme, but now it's whatever they offer, and they only have 2 choices a day. So I didn't really get to pick. The pizza of the day for the Brooklyn style was a mushroom pizza. And I saw the lone Detroit pizza. There was only 1 slice. Wasn't really going to get it, but saw it there lonely, so I took it. They do have the pizzas sitting on the counter, so they are cold, so you can ask to have it reheated, which I did. And let's check out the bottom of the crust. Here's the leoparding. There is some. Flops not too bad. Pretty good. Everything stays on it. Looks like they use a little cornmeal on the bottom, so it's easy to slide in and out of the oven. So let's try the shroom pizza. Let's see, I took a menu so we can see what's on it. The shroom pizza has mushroom cream, Wisconsin whole milk, mozzarella, pecorino cheese, thyme roasted mushrooms, fontina cheese, parsley, and garlic oil. You can definitely taste the fontina and the pecorino. It's a little bit more sharp than just mozzarella. The crust is okay. It's a little bit crunchy, but I don't know. This is more for the people that want a thin crust but a little bit more bounce and chew, which I'm guessing is probably coming from the Neapolitan side of their hybrid Brooklyn pizza. But it's not crisp. It's more of a chewy crust. The cheese for me is overpowering. Since I didn't get a choice, this would not be my first choice anyway, but you can definitely taste the mushrooms. It's very strong. So if you're looking for a nice mushroom pizza, then you're definitely going to get the mushroom flavor. Let's taste the back end of the crust. That was definitely good. It was nice, light, and flaky and crunchy. So that's a nice dough. I think the middle part, where the pointy part of the pie is, got a little soggy, so it's not as crisp, but definitely a great crust at the end. Like I said, if you're being cheap like me and you're just getting a slice, you don't really get to get a choice. It's just whatever's offered for the day, which was the shroom pizza. So the Detroit pizza of the day is a sausage and pesto, and it's a square type pizza that's very thick and bready. And you can see that they top it with some pesto and some marinara sauce. And it's quite thick and bready. All right, so here goes nothing. It's interesting because he did heat it up, but then he put the pesto and the marinara over it, which is cold. So, interesting contrast of temperatures. The marinara is very delicious. The pesto is as well. I didn't get much sausage or any, I don't know, meat. Let's try again. Yeah, I'm not getting meat. I'm not getting meat. I don't know where the sausage is. Took like 3 bites. It's definitely cheesy. Here, maybe I'll get some meat. I see some, and it's very tiny. So, super chang on the meat. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's just those tiny little crumbs of meat on there. So, I will taste some. That's how tiny it is. Tastes good, but it's so tiny, it's like minuscule. Tastes like fennel sausage. There's this nice crust here on the end of the burnt cheese. That's nice. Not my thing though. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but that's just a personal preference. I don't really care for too bready crusts, but if you're into like a French bread pizza and you like that kind of thick crust, then you'll definitely like that Detroit style pizza, which is known for that bready crust. I would say the shroom pizza, I give it a 6. It wasn't that impressive. And the Detroit pizza, for me personally, I'd give it a 5. And another thing that kind of makes the experience pretty crappy is the service was terrible. The guy had a frickin' attitude in the front. He even had an attitude with the girl making the pizza. You could see him talking to her. A lot of eye rolling at me, like he didn't want to be there, and like you're frickin' stupid. Look at like that kind of look, like looking at you like you're dumb. So wouldn't go back there again to patronize them. Maybe if the food was exceptionally good, I would deal with it. But if you don't like that kind of attitude, which reminds me of the East Coast, then you probably wouldn't like their service. So off to the next place. All right, we're here at Ili'Ili Cash and Carry. I did a video on them before. There's a pretty big parking lot here, so you can get parking. It's off of Baratania Street, and they do great pizza slices. I did a video, and I'll put the link above from before. All right, so we're here at Ili'Ili Cash and Carry, like I said. Got my pizza. So they sell it by the slice if you don't want to pay too much. I will say their menu is quite expensive. If you get a whole pizza, it's like $30 and high 20s, $28 for a pie, which is kind of expensive. So if you want a slice just for lunch, come on down here, and they have all kind of different slices. I usually just go for pepperoni and pretty simple, but they had all kinds. They even had an oxtail pizza today. So it's not what you think. It's not on the bone. They peel the oxtail off and they put it on the pizza, but a little too pricey for me. That one was the pricier one. I think it was $12.50 a slice. So I just went with the simple sausage and onions. They also have basil pizza and eggplant and stuff like that if you don't eat meat. This one's a little different. It's more like a square pizza because the two sides have the thick ends of the crust. And let's look at the bottom. Nice char there. So when you get your slices, you can see it through the little cabinet window, and they're not hot, but he will heat it up for you when you pick your slice. So let's dig into it. I'm going to cut it in half so I can actually get into the middle. Here we go. That's good. The sausage has so much flavor. Also got that Italian sausage fennel taste. The crunch of the onion. It's not raw, but it's cooked and caramelized, but still has a little crunch. The sauce is delicious. It's not acidic. It's not too sweet. It's just right. Although, even though it's thin on the bottom, it got a little soggy, probably from sitting in the window, you know, the display case. But if it was crispy on the bottom, that would be great. But it's a little bit gummy and doughy, but nothing too bad where I would say it's terrible. It's pleasant, but I think it would be a 10 rating if this was crispy. So yeah, a little bit different perhaps when you order by the slice, since it's already pre-made and has been sitting there for a while. But all in all, the cheese is delicious. The sausage is wonderful, very good and delicious, and the onions just complement it. Let's try the end piece here and see how it tastes. That's crispy and delicious. So I would assume, yeah, if you got your whole pie, the bottom would be just as crispy as the ends. It has a nice cracker feel to it that I like, that I prefer. That crunch and that lightness. Look at all those air pockets in there. But I will say the taste of the dough is a little bit different for me. It's not bad, but if I were to compare it to another pizza I like, I would prefer that taste of the dough. But all in all, an excellent pizza. What's really great about this place too is the service. The gentleman at the counter was very wonderful and smiley and pleasant. And that is so much refreshing from yesterday's experience at Pizza Mamo. So kudos to that server. Thank you for being friendly. You don't have to kiss anyone's ass doing service. Just be a nice human being and be pleasant. You don't even have to be super cheery. I mean, just be a nice person. That's all a customer asks for. Also, there is plenty of parking here because when you're on Baratania Street, especially in town, it's hard to find parking, but they have their own lot and it's a lot of stalls. So there's no problem with just coming in, getting a slice. They heat it up really fast and getting out of there within 10 minutes. I would give Ili'Ili Cash and Carry's pizza a 8.5. Okay, our next location is Boston's Pizza in Aiea. They have a few other locations. I'm not sure if it's a franchise because there's also one in Kaimuki and such like that. There used to be more locations, but as time went on, some of them closed down. They've been around since 1994. They call it Boston's North End Pizza. And as you know, if you've been following me, I lived in Massachusetts for a while and actually went to the North End last March. So let's see if it lives up to the hype. I will say I have tried it before. I think I've had it twice and it was just okay. So let's see if they can redeem themselves. And I don't remember it being the same as pizza that you actually can get from the North End. Okay, so I got the pepperoni slices. You can get all kinds. They have supreme, they got pepperoni and sausage, spinach and garlic, all kinds of stuff, but I'm pretty much just trying to stick to pepperoni if they do have it. If they don't, such as the last place, I'll do a sausage or a different meat. But Here's the pepperoni. When you ask for a slice here, they give you 2. So you're going to get 2 no matter what. I don't know why they do that, but that's quite generous of them. I guess they could probably just give you 1 slice for like $3 or like $4 like J. Dolan's instead of charging you the price that they charge you. But anywho, this is the pizza. How thin it is. Not that thin compared to the pies I've had in the East Coast. There's the back. Let's see about the leoparding. Not too much, but there's some browning on the bottom. It's got some cornmeal on there too. So I guess it's easier to slide in and out of the oven. When you ask for a slice, they're already pre-made, but they reheat it for you, so it's nice and piping hot. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it definitely does not taste like pizza from Boston or New York for that matter. The marinara, or if you want to call it a pizza sauce, whatever you're going to call it, the tomato sauce is super sour for my liking. It almost tastes straight out of the tomato Hunt's can. Yeah, there's no sweetness to it either to balance it out. But I don't like too sweet either, but it's really, really acidic and sour. I like how the crust crunches when you bite into it. It didn't have too much flop, you know, but it doesn't taste like, for my preference again, I like East Coast pizza. Doesn't taste like that. So if you're looking for something in the middle of it, of East Coast pizza and just kind of like a regular pizza but not too thick, you'd like it. But there's something about the dough that I remember that I didn't really care for. The taste, to me, was a little off. And I don't know if it's because the tomato sauce is so sour, it's just throwing everything off. It's not too greasy, though, at least, considering it's pepperoni. It always leaches out a lot of grease. The pepperoni's good. It got really crisped up in the oven, so you've got some crunchy bits. But I also feel like they don't put much cheese on here. Like there's very little cheese and just a lot of sauce. All right, final thing is I'm gonna taste the end of the crust. The ends are pretty good. They're pretty crispy and crunchy, as you could hear. And, you know, flaky like I like it. Almost like that cracker consistency. All in all, a pretty good pizza, but it's just kind of mid for me. It's just mediocre. I would give it a 5.5 out of 10. All right, so I went to a place that's fairly new. It's called Bocconcino. It's off of Kawai House Street, more on the Ward Avenue side. They make Roman pizzas. And if you see, I took a bite out of it because I was filming and then the card got, I don't know, what do you call it, corrupted. So I have to redo this again. So this is the pizza. And it's a Roman style pizza. I've never had it before. And basically I got the porcini mushroom with Italian sausage, and if you see the white stuff on there, that's the cheese, and it's homemade by the chef himself or the owner. He makes this type of cheese. I'm not going to butcher the name. I'll put it on the bottom, and I'll also put the pizza's name on the bottom because I'm going to butcher that too. But basically this is similar to a mozzarella, but not quite. He also makes homemade mozzarella cheeses, and if you go inside the store, it's almost like a little Italian shop. It's got salamis and meats and cold cuts, olive oils, all kinds of things, cakes. And he also sells both of those cheeses that he makes there. So if you're looking for a good quality cheese, go ahead and try it. I've never had a Roman pizza before. It is an oval shape, so it's cut a little different, but it doesn't really have a flop. It's pretty hard on the bottom, which is a good sign for me, my preference. And good leoparding on the bottom, which is the char. Taking a taste again. The cheese is elastic-like in a good way. It's just that like buffalo mozzarella feel. Even though it's not mozzarella, it has that same feel, that cheese pull. It has a fresh, milky taste, really nice. The tomato sauce isn't too sour or acidic, yet not too sweet and artificial with sugar. Just right. The mushrooms, I don't know if they're canned, fresh, or reconstituted from being dried, but they're very chewy and meaty in taste. So it gives you kind of that meat feel, but it's, I guess, healthy. The only downside I see of this is the Italian sausage. I see a lot of fennel sprinkled on it, but it just doesn't have much flavor to me. I would say Ili'Ili Cash and Carry's sausage, whatever they're using, is amazing in flavor. This is very dull and bland. The dough is crispy, yet this is a little bit thicker than a regular New York or East Coast pizza. About a few millimeters bigger, but not too thick like a Pizza Hut type dough. And it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. And I like everything combined. It's a very nice pie. I would, however, suggest eating this right away while it's hot, because you want that melty, elastic cheese on there. I'm going to try the backside of the end of the crust. Super nice and crunchy and flaky. That's what I prefer. I like that crunchy, crackery dough, except I don't want it too dry, which it's not. It still has a perfect balance of still being dough-like, but also being crispy. I like the char from the oven. It's pretty good. I like it. I've never had a Roman pizza, like I said, and it's very enjoyable. All in all, a very good pizza. Very surprised and very, it's coming from an Italian person, so it's pretty authentic and delicious to me to suit my taste, and I would give it an 8.75. All right, we're here in downtown Honolulu, and we're trying a place that my friend said I have to absolutely try if I love J. Dolan's, because it's the former partner of J.J. Dolan's when it used to be J.J. Dolan's. They had a falling out, and he now owns the Black Shamrock. It is across from Murphy's, so it used to be O'Toole's. So let's go check out their pizza. I love J. Dolan's. It's the top one so far, so let's see if it's any better or similar. All right, so I got my pizza. It is a pepperoni. They've got other fancy ones like Kahlua pig and cabbage. That's interesting. Or maybe that's not pizza. I don't know. It says it's all pizza. So it's pretty much all pizza on the menu, nothing else. So yeah, that's pretty neat. They have a Jersey tomato pie. So these are Jersey pies, so I'm excited to try them. Go wrong with black and tan. It's an Irish bar serving Jersey pizza. All right, we got our pizza, and it looks amazing. We were actually served by the owner right out of the kitchen. Look at how thin this is. I have a good feeling about this one, man. Man, that is some good pie. If you like East Coast pies, it's a Jersey pie, but you like Boston pies, New York slices, this is it, yes. All right, hopefully you can hear me because the music's really loud and I hope I don't get copyrighted, but let's try the end crust. Man, it's cheesy, the pepperoni's delicious. Look at all the Italian seasonings on there, super crunchy. So thin. Amazing. Let me grab another one. It has a flop. It's got nice leoparding, but it's foldable. Look at that. So I'm going to give it a David Portnoy 9.2, the highest score so far. Hopefully we'll find something else better. Who knows? All right, we're going to try a place called Uncle's New York Deli and Pizza. It's across from Schofield Barracks, right next to Kemo'o Pub. This is their pizza. You get 2 slices of this, but I don't want to take it out. It's quite greasy looking, and it's already leaking through the bag. So, but 2 slices of this is freaking huge. So it does flop a lot. It's freshly made for you and heated up. Even though it's floppy, nice crunch. Some pretty good leoparding on the back. The pepperoni's crisped up really nice, so it has that crunch sometimes, but not burnt. The cheese is good. So hard because the dough is fabulous. It's what I'm looking for in a East Coast type pizza, or my style that I prefer. But the only thing that makes it not so good is the sauce is super sour. It's a very strong tomato sauce flavor, almost like Boston's, just like out of the tomato sauce can. No seasoning, no Italian seasoning. Just really off-putting. So it doesn't totally make the pizza terrible. The cheese and the pepperoni are great. The dough makes it top notch. So I'll give it a 8.4. I think that's a fair score. A little under Ili'Ili cash and carry and Bocconcino because everything was balanced in that. But yeah, if you're looking for something similar, just the sauce is just a tad off, but the dough is fabulous. You can try this place out. It's not bad. 8.4 is not a bad score at all. All right, so if you're saying, Misty, you're in the area of Schofield, why didn't you do Old Town Pizzeria in Wahiawa? Well, I am here. I came here, made a loop around because it's close. Was actually excited. They were on my list for a while. They're super nice. Nothing wrong with that, but kind of strange. It doesn't make sense to me. But she explained there's no slices. I thought they were sold out because a lot of Army folks come here for lunch and it's after lunch hours. They said they would make one for me, a pizza, but it would take 20 minutes. I don't have that kind of time. I got to go. And then the strange thing, she said, if you come back next Monday, just let me know and I'll make it, which is very sweet of her, but it's Monday, so I have to wait a week and I don't have that kind of time. I'm making videos, as you know, so nothing wrong with that. I'm just addressing if you're wondering why didn't you hit that pizza place. That's the reason. All right, so this is our final stop. Very long video. Apologies if you're not interested. You probably wouldn't have made it this far anyway, but if you're really into pizza and looking for a great pizza, hopefully this video helps you. If you're wondering why didn't I cover Garabaldi's Little G's. We did a video there a long time ago when they first opened. I'm going to put the link above. The reason I didn't go there, I wanted to include him into the pizza episode, but he is closed all February because they are renovating his shop, and hopefully he comes back bigger and brand new. So go check out their pizza. I do like their pizza, and he makes some pretty creative ones, and he's from New York as well. So today, our last stop is in Hawaii Kai. It's called Repetti's, and it is in the shopping center with Safeway and Long's and McDonald's. So it's after the one with Costco on Keohole Street. They are a restaurant. I read on their website. I don't know how true it is or whatnot, but this is from their website that they had a shop, a pizza shop on Prison Street in Lahaina. And I guess, I'm assuming it's gone, and now they opened up an Italian restaurant, same owners or something like that, here in Hawaii Kai. It's an Italian restaurant. You can sit down, enjoy some pasta and good eats inside or outside by the marina. But they do pizza, and they do slices all day, she said. I called them, and I'm hoping this is good. Customer service was very nice. Nice guy up front, very patient. Came out within 5 minutes. The slices are pretty affordable. This is it. It was wrapped up in foil to keep it hot. Very nice, nicely put together for takeout anyway. So yeah, this is interesting. It kind of looks like frozen pizza offhand with that cheese, but you never know. I'm not going to judge it off the looks. Smells good. It seems you got your regular cheese that usually comes with the pizza. Looks like what it's supposed to, I guess. And then you got some more mozzarella over here. And the pepperoni looks interesting. Kind of looks like, just to be honest, not to knock it till I taste it, the Hormel kind you get from the store to make your own pizza at home. The crust, though, looks really nice. All right, let's check out the undercarriage, so my friend Frank says. So, it's there. There's a little bit of leoparding, but not much. I mean, it's just a little bit of dark spots, a little bit there. Some flop, but it is foldable. You can hear the crunch. Really crispy. Same thing, what I'm looking for, crispy, cracker-like, but the inside of the crust is still soft. It's not like a dry mess. It still has chew to it. I'm surprised. I thought the last one was going to just suck. I'm going to give it, it's one of the top ones, but it still does not beat my top one, Black Shamrock. That was the best I've tasted here on this island. So if I gave Bocconcino 8.75, I'm going to give it an 8.9. That's how good this is. So if you're in the Hawaii Kai area and you're looking for an East Coast thin crust pizza, similar to a New York style or a Jersey pizza or a Boston pizza, this is it. They also have cheese pizza. So it's, I think he said it's $2, or I forgot what he said. So they sell it as a cheese pizza slice, and you can add toppings to it for $2. So I added just one topping, and that was the pepperoni. But the more you add, the more expensive it's going to be. You can also add some toppings that are like extra fancy, like ricotta and stuff like that. So all in all, a pretty good pie. So that was pretty much my pizza compilation. If you're wondering and complaining about, you could go to Costco or Sam's Club for cheaper, or Pizza Hut or whatever. That is not about that. They all have their own purpose if you're looking for a cheap meal, but this is actually looking for a good East Coast type pizza. I threw that Detroit in there because it looked lonely and I just ordered it, but that was terrible anyway. So not my style. But if you did try something on this list and you enjoyed it, leave a comment. If I did not like it and you enjoyed it, leave your comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts. All of our tastes are subjective, so it's interesting to hear different people's opinions. And hopefully, if you got this far, thank you so much for actually sticking around and watching it. And hopefully this helps you if you're looking for a really good pizza that's kind of like a New Jersey, New York, or Boston style thin crust. Actually, some of these pizza slices are not very expensive. Like J. Dolan's was around $4. I believe this one is 3 or 2. I'll put the prices on there, the actual price, so you can see. And then $2 for toppings. So, you know, you can find some pretty inexpensive pizza slices. It's not that expensive to have a little bit more of a gourmet crust and cheeses and etc. So, thank you for watching this very long video, and to everybody that always watches and comments, I really appreciate you. Like this if you liked it and it was helpful. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again on another food adventure. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.